it also seems like you had quite a bit of success doing the whole VIP thing.
Yeah, that's been awesome.
Any interesting stories from the VIPs, or is it pretty straightforward?
It's been pretty straightforward. I mean, there's been a couple. I'm not going to name any cities or anything.
Sure.
You know, but there's been a couple places where we've had a couple like guys like, do we really want to bring that guy on the bus? You know, like he's kind of a freak. But they're, you know, most of the people have been super cool. I mean, the cool thing that's happened with the VIP thing that we didn't even really think about in the beginning was, you know, when we play a show, we have like a bunch of hardcore fans, and we don't really know who they are. We just see their faces out there, and generally people that sing lyrics or come up front. But there's a lot of people who aren't, you know, that are more shy or just stand back or whatever. This has allowed us to sort of like see who those people are, because the hardcore fans are buying the VIP tickets. Like those hardcore fans. So it's kind of given us a chance to like see who they are right up front, without having to sort of like search them out. So that's been kind of a cool thing, to just be able to like say hi to them and talk to them before the show, before the chaos of the show, and you know, we're not all sweaty and gross, and just kind of like, you know, thank them for supporting us all this time and all that stuff, and just have that. I mean, it's funny. It's like the VIP thing. You know, they're buying a ticket to get direct access to us, but it's kind of turned around a little bit to where it's like we're getting direct access to them. You know, it's we're able to just like be like, damn, you know, thanks for like helping us out and all that stuff. You know, on a financial level, it's helped us. It's helped the tour a lot, for sure. I mean, you know, we probably couldn't have this bus if it wasn't for the VIPs. We're just right on that like threshold of being able to have a bus and not being able to have a bus, and the VIPs definitely helped to push it over that. So that helps a lot. So, and it's been interesting. I mean, it's, you know, at first it was a little like awkward, because it's something we don't usually have to do within our day, to like think about like, you know, involving other people that don't have anything to do with the tour. So most of the time though, it's been pretty cool. But there's been some dates where like I've kind of felt bad because of schedules and things. We've gotten like, you know, we'll get there really, you know, early and we'll load in, and then we're like, oh crap, like the VIPs aren't even here, so like we loaded in way too early. They're not even going to be able to see the sound check, things like that. And there's been a couple times where like when we were in the midst of like 4 or 5 people being sick on this tour, we just didn't want to bring people on the bus and get them sick. So it's kind of like, sorry, you're not going to get to go on the bus, you know, because I think that's one of, you know, the cool things about it is you can see like, you know, it's just disgusting cesspool in here. You know, you can see what like a tour bus is, and people who've never been on one are always like, "Whoa, it's like way smaller than I thought it would be," and stuff like that. And you know, it looks like a massive thing from outside, but it's actually really kind of claustrophobic.
They really are.
Stuff like that. So
it's better than a van.
It is better than a van. It's better than an RV. Absolutely, I can't complain. I cannot complain at all. No.
So you think the VIP thing might be something you do again?
Oh, I would say so. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
as long as people are still going for it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it benefits both sides.
Right.
You know, like, that's the feedback we've gotten too. Because we've asked people like, "This is, do you feel like, you know, this was like really cool?"
Right.
Have you been bored? Because a lot of times, you know, it's kind of boring. It's like you show up and you load in and you're like watching a bunch of dudes like loading gear. It's like big deal. But some people have been sort of fascinated by it. And,
I mean, for you, it's something you do all the time. For you know, a lot of other people, like they've never seen that. So
I mean, I think it appeals to the people that are interested in that. I mean, it's sort of like, you know, going back to see, you know, a chef in a kitchen. It's like, I don't care to see how he makes my food, but some people are interested in that. So, you know, there's been some people that are like, I had no idea the amount of work that goes into doing one show is unbelievable. I mean, it is. You know, it's a 24-hour day, like, process, and people that have gotten to see that. They've been like, they understand it and see it that way. I've been pretty amazed by it, which is kind of cool. I'm always happy to like tear down the mysteries. Rock and roll, you know.
Now you've talked extensively about division in the scene. I mean, I know you went on the tour with Bella Morte, and that, you know, probably helped a little bit as far as, you know, getting their fans and your fans together to see each other. But, you know, why not get into a tour with like B&B or Covenant or, you know, somebody like that?
Well, I mean, we've talked about doing it. I mean, I think sadly right now the electronic, the side of the electronic only people is way bigger than the machine rock side. So the balance there is way off, you know. So like, you know, Comedy Crisis is drawing, you know, 600 people, you know, club nights, and we're drawing, you know, 75, so the balance is way off.
Right.
So, I mean, in that way, it doesn't really work. I mean, we've thrown it around. I mean, we were supposed to do some dates with Comedy Crisis, and, I mean, in retrospect, like, pretty much everyone's just been like, I don't really think that's a good idea. Just, you know, it's almost like we played with Guar one time, and it was sort of like nobody gave two shits about seeing us. It's like they just wanted Guar, and it's kind of the same thing. It's like none of our fans really, at least the hardcore like 16 volt fans that are like into the guitar-based industrial, they don't want to see Comedy Crisis. They don't care about Comedy Crisis, and vice versa. You know, they're like Lindsay, you know, Yarn Hit fans. They don't care about seeing us. We're just a bunch of like dumb metalheads, rednecks to them. So. You know, I mean, where it seems like it would make sense, it just doesn't really.
Yeah.
You know, and even in talking with like Metropolis and things like that, it's just like it just doesn't really make sense. It's too divided. You know.
Right.
And when you have a label that houses all those bands, you know, is saying it's too divided, that's a pretty alarming statistic.
Yeah. If anybody would know, they would.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a weird. We're in a weird spot right now. We're definitely like the underdog side.
Yeah.
And we've jokingly said, like, you know, this tour is sort of like, well, you know, watching the teeth fall out of the corpses, you know, because it's like, in a lot of ways, it does feel like, you know, it's really just flat right now. And, you know, maybe that'll turn around. You never know. It might get worse. It might die. We don't really know. I don't know. I mean, it's a scary thing. And this tour, too, we've seen, like, on our last tour, we've seen scenes get smaller. And other scenes get bigger, like Milwaukee, and it used to be like nobody. But now that was one of our biggest shows, so it's still like in this weird flux place. It's really odd. Like you know, we've talked to people that come to the shows that were like, oh yeah, you know, we were listening to, and I'm not trying to start like a 16 volt versus Comedy Price VP Nation thing. That's not what it's about at all. I think there's room for everybody in this scene. And I think Kinetic was a good example of how that can work.
Yeah.
Because you look at the attendees there. I mean, our show is great, and Comedy Price show is great, and Caustic's show is great. Everybody got into it, and I just wish that the whole country was like that. The whole or not just the country, but the whole continent or the whole globe had that sort of open-mindedness about it, and wasn't so stuck in like the fashion side of it. Because that's kind of really what it boils down to. It's just fashion, which is kind of like, I don't want anything to do with that anyways. But
we all wear different boots.
Yeah, stuff. Well, I mean, I'm a hypocrite, because I'm wearing stompy boots, but my primary goal isn't the fashion.
Yeah.
It's the music. Yeah.